Hi, I'm Eileen Daly-Boas. I'm the librarian for education and philosophy, and we're going to talk brainstorming. First, I'll point out that if you need to get help, libguides.lib.rochester.edu/edu, where you can email me or schedule an appointment, or when I'm there, live chat through IM. So let's talk brainstorming. So sometimes brainstorming is really easy. You say, I've got a really good idea, like I'm interested in early childhood education, autism, and inclusion. You go over to the homepage here at River Campus Libraries, you type in your terms, you get 2,000 results, you say, wow, that's a little too many, they look pretty good, let me limit them. So what you just noticed is I just did a whole lot of filters, I've got 23 results, they all look pretty good, at least on my front page, so that's great, and it's done. And you just start diving into those articles, and you start sort of playing around with them. But it's not always that easy. So let's use an example that I think is a kind of hard, challenging example, is challenges facing working graduate students. And so when we're brainstorming, I like to think about it like cooking, where the first thing you need to do is kind of have an idea of what you need in your recipe, but then also what do you already have in your pantry? What do you already have at the ready? And so this can be things like your own experience, but also have you read articles about this? Have you taken notes in class? Do you know someone? So think about all the things that are around you first and start to capture that. Take 5 minutes to scribble out everything you think. Do some free writing. And so what I have here is I was a working graduate student about 15 years ago. And so managing time was hard. It was stressful. And because I did a partially online program, I felt a lot less connected to other students than the ones who were there on campus full time. And so I'm going to start thinking about those terms, about how I might incorporate those. Do I already have articles or class notes? Do I know anyone studying this? So if you're at Warner already, you might know that Brian Gopal does study doctoral students and studies graduate students, but you might not know that. That's okay. So the first thing that I'm going to try is put working graduate students, and I put it into the library, but instead of getting those amazing results, it doesn't come up with much. I get a lot of things all over the place. So I like to think about who, what, where, when, why, and how. And I try to think both specific as I can and as general as I can. So some of the ways I might think about this are, where are we thinking about online? Or are we thinking about somewhere else? Right, that's a kind of where. It could also matter, is it in the US or not? Who am I considering a particular population? So in this case, we're thinking about graduate students, but we might think graduate students, master's students, doctoral students, EDD students, graduate students in education, graduate students in other fields, graduate students in the social sciences, right? We can think about these different narrower and broader categories, and capturing some of those things will give you some things to test out when you're searching. So then as I'm thinking about my topic, one of the things I think is, the working graduate students, this usually means working full time. So that makes me think about school-work balance, work-life balance, work-school-life balance, right? All of those combinations. And I'm going to try to capture those. And I'll tell you, if you try going into library.rochester.edu and throwing a whole bunch of words at it, it doesn't quite get it. If we don't have the exact right keywords, very often our library search engine, which is a narrow subset, it's searching a narrow subset of all the research that's out there, but it tends to be a lot of the best peer-reviewed things. But if we're not getting anywhere, we need something to get a foothold in. So I like to go to Google Scholar. And one of the things about scholar.google.com is it's search engines are powered by Google, which means it's really good at trying to figure out what you've said in your natural language, right? Working full-time students or something, and figuring out what you might be interested. The problem is it's always going to give you 50,000 results. And until you know your topic really well, it's hard to tell what the best results are. But it doesn't mean it's not a good place to start when you don't have the right terms, when that library search hasn't worked. So I like to go into scholar.google.com, put in my terms, and see what comes up, knowing that I'm not looking for the perfect article yet. What I'm looking for are some really good search terms. If I happen to find some great articles, that's fantastic. One of the things we're also going to find in scholar.google.com is we're going to find a lot of dissertations. Now, dissertations are scholarly, but they're not really peer reviewed. They're reviewed by 3 or 4 people in a PhD program. And so they're very new research. And so one of the things you might use them for is looking at the references list. But it's not necessarily the highest quality research like you will get in the best peer-reviewed journals. So let's hop on over to Google Scholar. And I just threw in working full-time and doctoral students, right? Because now I've narrowed down instead of graduate students to doctoral students. And I know it's that working full-time that matters to me. Well, one of the things I notice is doctoral students are working full-time in schools and university. In addition to feelings of working full-time, oh no, right? My working full-time isn't getting me the thing that I want. They're talking about graduate students who are working at their graduate work full-time. So let me think about, instead of working full-time and doctoral students, what if I think about other ways to refer to them? And that could be a part-time graduate student. It could be a non-traditional student. And I might even say, is that a thing? And I might just give it a try. And so here we are in Google Scholar, non-traditional doctoral students working full-time. And I just threw everything in there. And now we get something that looks like it might be okay. Doctoral student retention, maybe. The grit and non-traditional doctoral student success. That might be. The part-time doctoral student experience. This might be perfect. And look, it's by Brian Gopal. And so one of the things I can notice is it came out in 2012. It's been cited 163 times. So lots of people have looked at this. Seeing the course Grit, Academic Success, and Non-Traditional Doctoral Students. That looks like it might be good. I can almost definitely tell you that this is a dissertation because it comes from pepperdine.edu. It means it's 2013 citations. Its references are going to be a little bit old, but it has been cited 28 times. So this might be something where we want to look to see who cited an article since then. We can certainly search within the citing articles if we like. And so now we start to see mentorship, emotional exhaustion. These are the sorts of things that we were thinking of, but now we've got some good key terms for it. So in brainstorming, this is one piece of it. There's going to be other parts where now how to do filtering, how to do searching. But when you're brainstorming, think about all the different ways you can find those terms. And don't be afraid to look outside of just the library's research databases. All right, we're going to do more work as we go along. Thanks a lot.